Hello my nomies, welcome back to the MT and me. You know, in our last video we spent all of our time working on Lady's front end, replacing those tie rods. And I'm happy to say that that repair seems to be working just fine. This week, we're going to get back on Pearl. Oh, and did I mention I got another package to open? Hi, I'm Russ. I'm rebuilding a 1977 Mobile Traveler motorhome. This is all about the MT and me. My beautiful Pearl has been a very patient lady with me lately. I have all but ignored her because I had weeks of work at my day job that kept me away from her. And then in the last video I really thought I was going to get back on her and had a problem with the Jeep Liberty, Ree's Jeep, that I had to address. But this week it's good to be finally back sitting in one of her front doors, ready to try to get a little work done here and see what we can accomplish. Now, I mentioned I got another package, and this is a package of Pearl stuff. It's not for Lady, it's not for the house, and I don't need a knife apparently to open it. These are goodies for Pearl. For one thing, oh look, a package in a package. I can tell you what this is right away, if I can get the package open. I appreciate their diligence in packing stuff. But my goodness, it's Rustzilla, pardon me, I said it wrong, Rustzilla. Now you may remember this product. We had a little can like this before, and we did most of the steel framing on the ceiling of Pearl until we ran out. There's about 2 sections, maybe 3 sections at the very back that I didn't get to because I ran out of product. I got more product. We're going to do those, and then I should have plenty left over to maybe work some on the front of the engine. Remember, a couple of weeks ago we mentioned that getting Pearl's motor ready to be reassembled requires getting some of the rust treated on the front. Just mainly, not so much the engine itself, but the mountings for the power steering and the alternator and things like that. They've got surface rust on them. So we're going to brush them real good, paint them with a little Rustzilla, and see if we can't protect them too. So I'm excited about that. The other product in here is what really has me excited, and that is just a set of bolts and nuts. But there's a carburetor stud kit. Now, my manifold already has carburetor studs on it, but I was actually having trouble tracking the bolts down here locally. So I ordered some. We're going to pull out the carburetor, see if we can't fit it in place. I'm not going to install it today because I'm not quite ready for that, but we're going to do a dry fit on it, get these bolts out, and see if we can't lock her down in place and see what Pearl's motor looks like with a carburetor actually on it for the first time in more years than I care to count. So I'm sure you remember several videos back, we were working on Pearl's carburetor. The carburetor we got will work with the motor, but it didn't quite fit the manifold spacing for reasons that we never have really figured out. So what we did was go in on the carburetor and modify the mountings so that they will fit. And now we're down to the moment of truth. Let's see how it's going to lock in place. know it goes on there. I will take a knife to get these nuts out. And right out of the starting gate, Houston, I think there's a problem. Let me get this carburetor out of the way. My nuts are the right size, but they may be the wrong threading. Well, I got that one on there, now I can't get it off. These are 5/16 by 1.5 inch studs that come in this kit. Now, physically they look about the same. Doesn't really say what the threading is on the nuts. Well, I wonder if I could change the studs out. Let's get a few tools and find out. All right, first of all, get that nut off that I got stuck. Now let's see if we can get one of these old studs out. I don't want to jinx it, but this is coming out a lot easier than I thought they would. And from comparison, it's plain to see that these are different size bolts. The ones I got, first of all, are a little shorter. The spacing's different, and the threading is different. Let's see if this will fit, though. And it seems, too, it goes down in the manifold mounting. So maybe I should be able to use these new bolts and nuts after all. Let's see if it's going to give me enough height clearance to mount the carburetor. And I think that would be a yes. However, I am going to need some fairly large washers so that we can cover the space that I had to hollow out in the carburetor mounting in order to make the wider studs fit and hold the carburetor in place. So, it's going to be a little more work than I anticipated, but looks like I can swap all of these out and use this whole new set of studs after all. Cool. Alright, that's got all 4 new studs in place. The carburetor sits down nicely. Now we still are going to have to cut a gasket to fit over these because they just won't quite. We'll just have to take the corners out and position it underneath the carb, much like we did with the bottom of the carburetor on each corner. Cut those out. The carb will sit in place. It will work. All parts will move. But what we do have to do is get large washers to cover these areas so that we can tighten it down with the nuts, because we do have a little extra play there, as you can see. So we'll get the washers and we'll get the carburetor in place And Pearl will be that much closer to running. And that is something I'm really looking forward to. Something else that I've been wanting to do for a while is to work on Pearl's roof again. We've discussed before that it's been suggested that we should try pushing up on the sides, along the side beams, giving her some lift to try and bend them into shape so that we can get the center valley out of the roof. Where this air conditioner sat on top right above me here, all that weight over the years just pushed the roof down in the middle. It happens a lot on recreational vehicles apparently, because I've seen quite a few in other videos and in other accounts where they basically had the same problem. A lot of weight over a lot of years, and the roof sags. Well, Pearl's roof is sagging. We tried pushing it up in the middle, it won't stay. So maybe we can put a little spring back in the steel if we push on each side, because she has this metal framework. It's like a cage over the top. So one of the reasons, you may recall, that we wanted a mobile traveler, because they built with this high quality roof construction and wall construction that's reinforced with steel tubing. It's just about 3/4 to 1 inch steel square tubing, and it gives great structure and great form, but like anything else, it sags with time. So we're going to try and get the sag out. We're going to push up on the front here in this section and then move it down, maybe day by day, and just keep pushing to see what we can accomplish. So for now, let's see if we can jack these up evenly and get a little lift to the front end of Pearl's roof. Difficult to tell accurately, but just by line of sight looking down the roof line, it appears that we may have a little lift going on those front bars. Compare that to what you see right in here. These bars seem to be sagging a little more. Now bear in mind, the perspective is different, and we're looking through a camera, and that can distort things as well. While we're at it, I thought we'd also take a look on the outside and see what it looks like. And you should be able to tell that it does look like it's pushing up just a little bit. You can see that front seam right behind the vent. And that beam going across is the area where we have it braced upwards. If we come down to the level of the roof and back off a little bit, you can kind of see that despite that indention where the roof is caving in, the very front of it is pushed up a bit. So I'm kind of optimistic that this might make an improvement in Pearl's runoff potential on her roof. We just have to do every brace, or maybe two, going down each side and see what happens. That's going to take a few days, but it'll be worth it, and at least we're started on the process now. So like I said, we'll give it 24 hours, see how things look tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, and see what kind of progress we make and where we go from there. In the meantime, the sun's almost down. That means it's time for us to call it a day here on the MT and Me. Well, it's been almost 24 hours, and the good news is the post are still standing. They're still pushing upward on the roof. Now it's actually hard to tell exactly how much arch they may or may not be putting in the roof at this point. So I think what we're going to do is, first of all, get some snips and take this center board down so that we get a better perspective. And then let's take these and move them down a little bit and put that upward pressure more to the middle of the roof. We pointed out in an earlier video that here in the area in the middle where the air conditioner unit used to sit, the cross beams are doubled up here and here to add extra support for the weight of the AC. So I think pushing up in those areas, trying to get these double beams arching upward, will help the overall roof to form an arch. Let's see if that'll make a difference. So I think that has definitely put a little bit of an arch right in the middle of my roof line in that air conditioner area. So once again, we're going to let these stand where they are for about 24 hours or so, and then we'll come back and see what has happened. If it keeps on working, we'll just keep going down the roof line on the inside, and maybe we can get Pearl's top to arch like it should so that water rolls off. Then we can look at sealing the top and getting it leak proof once and for all so that we can actually do something on the interior. Meanwhile, since we're looking at the roof structure, it's not too hard to tell where I ran out of the Rustzilla earlier. This has been painted. This has not. Painted, not painted. Pretty obvious. So next week, we'll work on getting these final 2-3 sections of the back taken care of with the Rustzilla rust converter. And that'll take care of our interior painting. And then maybe we can get a little bit on the engine as well. Some of those mounts and parts of the engine that need a little treatment just to keep the rust down. In the meantime, check this out. I've had another huge limb fall out of grandfather oak. This one's stout. It probably weighs about 50 or 60 pounds. Out it in the middle of the yard. Once again, things haven't been real windy. Just goes to show you, the old tree's starting to lose some of its appendages. I just hope nothing falls on Pearl. And with that unsettling thought, that's going to be it for this week's video. Sorry to kind of literally leave you hanging, or at least pushed up, with the roof line in Pearl, but we'll check that out next week and see what kind of progress we've made. We'll also get to work with the Rustzilla too, and see if we can do a little more rust conversion and protection, all right? Thanks for coming along for the trip this week. It's a pleasure to be working on Pearl once again. Hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. Below you'll find links to Subscribe to the videos. Please do that if you haven't already. You'll find a link to buy me a coffee if you'd like to help with Pearl's restoration project. We can always use a little extra cash on that. You'll also find a link to our website, themtandme.com, where there's lots more background information, plus all the videos too, conveniently in one place online. And there's some history about the Mobile Traveler Company as well. Check it out. And check us out every Sunday morning here on YouTube with the MT and Me. Like, thumbs up, like I said, subscribe, and join us next time around, okay? Till then, I'm Russ. We will talk later. Now, I'm about to cut this thing up before I even think about burning it or doing something with it. And I still got that other big one that fell out of Grandfather Oak a couple of weeks ago. This keeps up, I'll have enough wood around to build a cabin or something.